which is represented, by the mother, who really mainly sees the negative things in life, and the father, who is not. I don't think he's blissfully unaware of the struggle. That's why he drinks. But he
chooses
decides,
to focus on the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Positivity.
Yeah, and I saw some people. I read briefly about the movie. Some people saying that like he was a dreamer and he had all these empty promises and blah blah blah, and like him being not a bad person, but not ultimately not a good person, because he's a fucking flim flam floozy kind of guy.
Yeah,
but I disagree. I disagree with that. Sure, he had his head in the clouds, and he didn't really, want to face reality. And when he did, yikes.
Yeah.
Whatever. We can spoil things. Like we said, the movie's 80 years old.
Yeah.
when he finally decides to when he finds out that his wife is pregnant again for the third time.
With the third child.
Yeah. And they're gonna have to pull Francie out of school, which is Francie, the daughter, is very she's not an academic, but she's
bright.
She's bright. She writes things. She's book smart. Yeah, she likes to read. She wants to find everything out. And they're not gonna be able to let her stay in school, which is like they mention, like Francie mentions when she finds out. Why would they pull her out of school, not Neely, her brother, who obviously doesn't care about school, and he's a boy. It'd be easier for him to find work, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The way I understood the reasoning was that because Francie is so smart and has this will to learn, she will have an easier time to go back to school if the opportunity arrives. She's also gonna be easier to land a job that maybe pays a little bit more, because she's so smart and so well spoken and all that stuff. So she can maybe get a little bit of a more fancy job.
Sure.
While Neely, he's a bit rough and maybe would only be able to do shitty work, which wouldn't pay much, and he would never ever make his way back to school if he ever got to stop.
Yeah. But that's...
Which I find, it sounded sort of reasonable, like I understand, but you would have to have more of a time frame for that to work.
Yeah.
Like knowing that, but Francie will be able to go back to school in like a year, tops.
And that's what the
but
mother...
they didn't have that.
No, that's what the mother hopes for. But the second Francie leaves school, she is never going back. It's not going to happen. She's going to be just like her mother. She's going to get stuck working.
Yeah.
And to make ends meet, she'll find some nice man to marry him, and then she'll have babies, and she'll never go back to school. That's the harsh reality.
The curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the dad kind of like, because he obviously wants her to keep working, keep writing and all that, because he is also creative. He has this dream.
He likes making up stories.
Yeah,
and stuff.
And he has his dream of being a musician. I mean, he technically is a musician.
He's a singer. Yeah.
Yeah, singer. But
he's the one who's encouraging Francie to write and make up her own stories.
Yeah, exactly. So he decides then, like, no, like, Francie has to stay in school. I'll do whatever I can. So, isn't it on Christmas Eve, the night of Christmas Eve, that he leaves? And
I think so. They realize it in the morning.
Yeah.
Because she tells him on Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
About the baby. And
I guess I'll have
and when they go to bed, he goes out.
Yeah. He goes out
But they don't know what happens to him until like a week later.
Yeah. Because he goes out to try to find a job. And he like hangs on the
Christmas night.
Yeah, he hangs on the door of the work office or whatever.
Yeah, unemployment
office. That's the word. Of course, in the blistering Brooklyn cold, suffers a pneumonia and dies.
Yeah.
And that's where when Francie finds out, it's just it's so sad.
Yeah.
But then there's also I think that in a weird way is where his characteristic, the perpetual positive feeling he had, is kind of justified, because when he dies, you think, oh man, now they're never going to make ends meet, because what little money he brought in still helped,
Yeah.
But then it turns out, first of all, there's so many people there at the funeral. Like, there were so many people that actually liked him and cared for him, and it's not like a lot of people, but the bartender at the bar he used to frequent comes over and wants to give them money, and when the mom refuses to accept the money, he offers Francie and Neely jobs at his bar.
Yeah.
So they can make money that way, and
still stay in school, because he says it's after school and on Saturdays.
Yeah, exactly. So and there's so many people like speaking well about him, that even though like he didn't find success or anything, he was still like a person you liked to be around.
Yeah.
And when you're like, yeah, that makes sense, and he lived what little life he had to the fullest.
Yes.
And the mom doesn't really want to recognize that. I think she's still kind of very pragmatic about the whole thing. But then a few months later, when she's ready to give birth, she asks Francie to read some of her, what do they call it? Her compositions?
Yeah, compositions.
I don't know what they mean by that. Her little short stories or whatever.
Yeah. Stories, yeah.
And she reads, I need to find I think I saw the one she reads. She had written about her dad.
Yeah.
I think I have it here. There it is. I think it's the whole thing. Yes. No, it's not the whole thing, but it's the
spirit of it.
The spirit of it, yeah. Perhaps many people might have said that he was a failure. It is true that he had no gift for making money, but he had a gift for laughter and for making people love him. He had the gift of making you feel proud to walk down the street with him. He had nothing to give but himself, but this he gave generously, like a king. And that also, I'm getting choked up just reading it. Jesus.
That your voice almost broke.
And she's reading this to her mother, and it's almost like she's like in delirium. I think she kind of snapped almost before the.
Yeah, she's afraid she's gonna die in birth.
Yeah.
She's afraid she's gonna leave her children with a newborn to take care of all alone.
Yeah.
She's realizing, and it hits her that, oh, my husband is dead and gone, and he will never come back to me, and I have to take care of this new child all on my own, and I have these two children I already have to take care of. There's so much hitting her right then and there, and she's afraid, basically. Yeah. Which I get.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
She's going to have her third child, and she doesn't have any real job, and now she doesn't have a significant other to help her. Yeah.
Her poor daughter is going to have to try and deliver the child if her own grandma or her own mother and sister doesn't arrive in time.
Yeah.
Which luckily they do.
Yeah, everything turns out fine. The baby's fine. She's fine. Yeah. And throughout the movie, Officer, what's his name?
McShane.
McShane has been kind of,
hanging about,
being nice to them and everything. He obviously kind of likes the mom.
Yeah.
And now after the baby is born, sometime after the baby is born, a couple of months or whatever.
Yeah.
He shows up and he says, he basically asks for her hand, so to speak.
Yeah.
So she what was mom's name again? Katie. Katie, obviously, she I think she noticed his not advances, but his feelings for her before, but now that she is a widow, she can reciprocate, and they do.
But that's the kind of weird thing though, because he had a wife when she had a husband.
Yeah, but
so they were both kind of like looking at someone else while they both had significant other.
I don't think she was looking at him like that. She just acknowledged that he was looking at her.
But he was kind and friendly.
Yeah, I think even that is the thing. He was kind and friendly. I don't think because this is a very, very wholesome movie. So I don't think they were like harboring
no adultery.
Nah, exactly, or even thinking about it. But then, since both of them are now widows, because he tells them that Mrs. What was her name? Shane died.
Jesus Christ!
I don't know.
Pull up their names. Have the poster in front of you.
Yeah, because all the names are on there.
Yeah,
both character and actor. She passed along 6 months ago, so it's an appropriate.
Right about the same time your husband died.
It's an appropriate amount of time for me to now ask.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, so now they have and the policeman. He's not going to be rich, but he has money at least.
He has a steady job.
Yeah, exactly. So in a way,
and he's a nice man.
Very nice man. Yeah. And he even says, like, I wouldn't suggest that your two older kids take my name, but maybe I can legally adopt the young'un. Like, oh. Yeah. And then that's the only time we see the baby. It's the fattest little face I've ever seen. Looks like a potato, but anyway. And then, they kind of fast forward to graduation day for both Neely and Francie. Because they could both stay in school.
Yeah.
And I guess at that point they're both going to the nice school. Because earlier in the movie, Francie gets to go to a nicer school.
Yeah, Johnny tells a fib and gets Francie into the nice school.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, she graduates whatever class, I guess, like 4th grade.
No, they don't go to the same school because that's Mom's worry that she won't be able to clone herself and go to both graduations. I'll only be able to go to Neely's. I can't go to yours because it's so far away and all that stuff. Right. It's not that far away. It's like 2 blocks away, but still.
Yeah.
Long enough, I guess. Far enough.